The smoke still hadn't cleared. Juno 4, once a medical sanctuary under ceasefire protections, now lay silent under a red-orange sky. Ash drifted like snow over the broken, blackened field tents. Crumpled medical drones buzzed faintly as their power cells died. The scent of scorched synthetics and burnt flesh hung in the air. Commander Talia Rourke knelt beside what was left of the infirmary's heart, a collapsed biotent, torn clean through by plasma fire. Her gloved hands trembled as she brushed debris off the still form of Lieutenant Mira Kwan. Blood, dry and dark, marked the white cross on her uniform. She was treating Valari children, whispered a voice behind her. Talia didn't turn. I know. She reached into Myra's pocket and pulled out a singed holocarm, Myra's twin siblings, smiling at the beach back on Earth. Talia's jaw clenched. Her eyes stung, but not from the smoke. The ceasefire had been signed only 5 days earlier. The Healer Corps were supposed to be untouchable. The Galactic Charter promised protection. But promises didn't stop the energy rounds that ripped through every tent and every medic station here. Talia stood, scanning the field. 37 medical personnel. No survivors. Even the 8 droids had been executed, shot in the head like traitors. Behind her, the UNSC dropship finally landed, kicking up dust. Admiral Greaves disembarked, face stone-cold. They knew, Talia said. They targeted us. Greaves nodded once. We're calling an emergency session with the Galactic Tribunal. They'll stall. Cite jurisdiction. Recommend diplomatic patience. Her voice was low. Controlled. Too controlled. These were doctors. We're not letting this go, Commander. But we have protocols. No, Talia said, her voice sharp now. We had protocols. They just buried them in mass graves. Earth orbit. 2 days later. The holograms flickered to life. Alien delegates filled the chamber in translucent blue, some in heavy robes, others in metallic exosuits. At the center of the projection stood High Inquisitor Valtrax Thorn, flanked by Valari enforcers. The evidence provided is inconclusive, Thorn said, voice silky, hands clasped. Combat near Juno 4 was initiated by rogue insurgents. Our troops returned fire in self-defense. Admiral Greaves stepped forward. Your return fire executed medics treating your wounded. Civilian aid staff. You breached the Healer Accords. Thorn raised a single brow. You provide no telemetry. No verified footage. No living witnesses. Talia stood to speak. That's because you killed them all. A murmur rippled through the holographic chamber. The Valari did not flinch. A Crixian delegate clicked its mandibles. Earth seeks retribution. We seek justice, Greaves said. Then follow proper channels, Thorn said smoothly. Or prepare for consequences. The holograms blinked out. Classified location, Orbital Prison Facility, Sector 9. Greaves rubbed his temples as Talia stared at the reinforced monitor displaying names, each one red flagged by Earth Command, each file stamped, do not release. Ever. We have one card left, he said. Project Helix. Talia frowned. I thought that program was shut down. It was sealed. Not erased. She scanned the files. The names brought memories. Distant stories. Whispered warnings. Humanity's worst, criminals, yes, but only because they won their wars too thoroughly. You want me to use war criminals, she said. Greaves didn't blink. We've tried diplomats. We've tried pleas. They killed your entire corps under a flag of peace. The galaxy shrugged. Maybe it's time we speak in a language they fear. Fear isn't justice. Maybe not, he said. But it sure as hell gets their attention. Talia looked again at the screen. Faces flickered. Data scrolled. Victor Kane, codenamed the Ghost. Sentenced for unauthorized assassinations on 20 planets. Lucia Voss, sabotage specialist. led a rebellion so ruthless her own people disowned her. Grimps, called Breaker. Killed an alien warlord barehanded. Demolished a city block because he didn't like how they looked at him. And others. They'll turn on us, she said. Not with the neural collars. Not with you watching them. She laughed bitterly. I'm a medic. Greaves leaned in. No. You're the only one they might listen to. Because you still believe in something. And because they owe you. She stared at the blinking screen. She remembered Myra's broken body. Fine, she said. Open the vault. Sector 9, Deep Lock Facility, Level Omega. The air was colder here. Metallic. Sterile, but soaked in dread. Lights flickered on in sequence, illuminating cryopods sealed behind reinforced glass. In each one floated a legend Earth had tried to forget. The warden's voice came through the intercom. Beginning neural sync. Safety's online. The doors hissed. One by one, the prisoners stepped forward, groggy at first, but their eyes held clarity. Too much clarity. Victor Kane cracked his neck. Well, if it isn't the healer girl. Lucia smirked. Thought we weren't getting out until the sun died. Grimps just stared at her, then grinned. So, who died? Talia kept her voice even. 37 medics. My entire team. Slaughtered. The room fell silent. Voss tilted her head. Let me guess. You want revenge. I want justice, she replied. Kane's smile faded. Same thing, once you get close enough. Talia turned toward the observation deck. Briefing begins in 2 hours. Suit up. We strike first, and clean. As she walked out, Voss whispered to Grimps, she's wearing a medic's tag under that uniform. She'll lose it, Grimps replied. Or die trying to keep it. Commander Talia Rourke stood in the observation bay, arms crossed, watching them emerge one by one. The war criminals were no longer just names on red flag files, they were real, breathing, and awake. Victor Kane was first. He moved like liquid shadow, unnaturally quiet even as boots hit metal. His black eyes scanned the room like it was a battlefield. Scar across his jaw. No twitch. No blink. Next was Lucia Voss, smirking as if she'd already beaten everyone in the room and was now waiting to be thanked. She adjusted her short jacket over the armored vest, pale eyes full of arrogance and fire. She stopped in front of the mirror, checked her braid, and winked at her own reflection. Nice facility, she said aloud. Still smells like fear. Breaker Grimm stuck through the threshold, too wide for standard clearance. He didn't walk, he rumbled. A boulder and boots. Muscles pressed against the exosuit like it was stitched from tension wire. He cracked his knuckles. The sound echoed like gunshots. Then came Noah Vire, silent, ghost-like. Clean-cut, lean. Looked more like an accountant than the most lethal marksman humanity had ever trained. His gaze was still, heavy, unreadable. Last was Dr. Arlen Shea. Even the guards shifted when his pod opened. White coat, steel briefcase in hand, glasses slightly askew on a face too calm. He looked like he'd never left the lab, even while plotting biochemical horrors the Geneva protocols had no names for. Talia stepped into the room. The air tightened. The guards tensed. Kane grinned. The medic walks. I walk armed, Talia replied, coolly. Lucia chuckled. They said you'd be nervous. I'm not. Liar. Talia handed each of them a datapad. Mission briefing. Objective, Desal 6 Relay Tower. Key Valari Infrastructure Hub. Symbolic and strategic. Destroy it. Make it loud. We're not subtle, Grimps muttered, scrolling. You're not, Talia agreed. That's why you're here. Arlen looked up. Why us? You're efficient. Disposable. And terrifying. He smiled faintly. You flatter us. No, she said, voice flat. I'm desperate. The room quieted. Even Kane's smirk faded. Noah finally spoke. Why you? Because I've already buried the best of us, she said. You're what's left. UNSC Harbinger, Launch Bay 4. 4 hours later. The Harbinger was a sleek dreadnought retrofitted for stealth and deployment. It roared to life with unnatural smoothness, piercing out of Earth's orbit and into the black. Talia stood at the tactical holodable as the crew made final jumps. Lucia leaned down the table. You realize this is a suicide run. It's a disruption run, Talia replied. We create chaos. Cut their comms. Shake their morale. Same thing, Kane said. But prettier words. Works better on reports, Talia snapped. Especially ones that go to governments who still pretend to care about ethics. Shay tapped his chin. Your plan has one flaw. Just one? He smiled. You think you're in control. I'm in charge. Different things. Talia turned away. She knew the line between command and illusion. She was holding on with blistered fingers in sheer defiance. Training Deck 3, 1 hour to jump. Breaker's fists collided with the reinforced metal of the sparring wall, again and again. Each hit left a dent. Talia watched from the upper walkway. You're wasting energy, she said. Building rhythm, he grunted. You're not a metronome. No, he said, pausing. But you need something steady in the storm. She frowned. Is that a philosophy or a threat? Breaker laughed. It was a sound like gravel poured over metal. Neither. Just what I am. She nodded and left. Behind her, the pounding resumed. Armory Bay, 20 minutes to drop. Noah Vire stood in front of the weapons locker, inspecting the sniper array. He selected a long-barreled rifle and one short blade, nothing else. You're under-equipped, Talia said, entering. He shrugged. I won't miss. Talia handed him a small audio transmitter. For when the silence becomes too loud. He pocketed it without a word. She turned to leave but hesitated. What do you see when you aim? He didn't look at her. The only choice that matters. Bridge, mission commencement. Dropping in low orbit now, the pilot announced. Desal 6 spun below them. Red sands. Black relay spires piercing up like needles. Minimal defense presence, Valari confidence had grown too fat. Perfect. Talia stood before the war criminals as the launch doors opened. You all have collars. One wrong move. We die, yes, yes, Lucia interrupted, rolling her eyes. We got the bedtime story. No, Talia said. I meant I die. Because if I lose control of this mission, Earth doesn't survive what comes next. Kane leaned forward. Then don't lose control. Make them hurt, Talia ordered. But leave someone alive to scream about it. Ah, Shay said. We're doing messages. The lights turned red. The doors hissed open. Wind howled in. One by one, they jumped, into the dark, into the fire, into infamy. Surface, Desal 6, 0300 hours. The Helix team moved like death incarnate. Lucia planted explosives with surgical speed, detonating perimeter towers in precise rhythm. Kane infiltrated command bunkers without a sound, bodies fell, never alarmed. Noah perched above the main structure, covering the entire operation. He didn't fire once. He didn't need to. Grimps walked straight through the main gate, dragging one of their heavy cannons behind him like a toy. He fired once, ripping through a barricade, a tank, and a Valari command post in a single shot. Shay released nanodrones into the air filtration. A non-lethal neurotoxin paralyzed everyone inside without a drop of blood. It was elegant, fast, ruthless. Talia watched from the Overwatch ship, silent. Then the relay tower lit up, fire blooming from its top. Debris rained down in slow arcs. The Valari would be blind for weeks. Kane's voice crackled through comms. Objective complete. Voss chimed in, and the cherry on top captured their tactical logs. Gonna leak real nice. Talia closed her eyes. The tower was down. But she didn't feel triumph. She felt cold. Final scene, UNSC War Room, Earth. Footage of the operation had already leaked. Civilian terminals across Earth, and soon across the galaxy, played the flaming tower again and again. People cheered. Valari ambassadors stormed out of emergency meetings. Talia stood before the UNSC Council. You used monsters, one senator accused. No, she replied. I directed monsters. And they listened. Did they? Another asked. Or are you just the one holding the leash? Talia didn't answer. She looked at the footage again. Then she whispered, just loud enough for herself. This is just the beginning. Disal 6 was dust. The Helix team had vanished into orbit minutes after the tower fell. Now, inside the Harbinger, the silence was heavy, thick with aftermath. Commander Talia Rourke stood before a holomap, tracing a red line from Disal 6 to their next target, Valari Outpost Alpha, deep in contested space. The galaxy had noticed Disal 6. The Valari response was swift, patrols doubled, borders tightened, and media denounced the human terrorists. But Earth didn't back down. If anything, they leaned in. Talia turned toward her team, seated with varying degrees of boredom and disdain. Valari Logistics Hub. Outpost Alpha. Secondary target. Lucia Voss leaned back. Not even breathing room? No. This one's different. No bombs. No brute force. We infiltrate, extract encrypted intel, plant a disinformation virus, and leave unseen. No fireworks? Breaker grunted. This is about chaos, not spectacle, Talia replied. Victor Kane's eyes gleamed. Subtle. I like it. Makes the cleanup harder for them. Dr. Shea raised a hand lazily. Define unseen. I assume we're not leaving them conscious. Talia didn't flinch. Do what you must. But keep the corpse count low. Grimms chuckled. You sure you're not one of us now? Talia didn't answer. Her silence spoke enough. Approach, Valari Outpost Alpha. 48 hours later. The Harbinger cloaked above the atmosphere. Helix suited up in quiet focus. Gone were the firebombs and heavy rifles. Now they wore infiltration rigs, silent, flexible, coated in anti-sensor mesh. Talia descended with them. Lucia raised a brow. Commander's getting her boots dirty. This isn't trust, Talia said. It's control. Kane smiled. No difference where we're going. The outpost came into view, symmetrical, precise, humming with Valari discipline. Rows of anti-air turrets. Patrols in perfect rotation. Inside those walls sat a data core containing Valari encryption keys, troop positions, and Black Ops projects. And Talia needed it. Interior, Outpost Alpha, 0230 hours. The first wall was bypassed without alarm. Kane and Voss wove through shadows like second nature. Vire eliminated lookouts without making a sound. Each fall was a whisper lost in wind. Inside, Shea activated his pulse jammer, disabling internal sensors for 3 minutes. Clock's ticking, he warned. Talia led the way into the central vault. Doors sealed with biometric locks. She placed a small device onto the panel, custom tech. Myra's design. Her late medic friend, who once believed every wall could be opened with kindness or a good tool. The lock clicked open. Inside, the core, glowing, humming, alive. She inserted the virus drive. The screen blinked. Data flooded out. Mission, nearly done. Extracting logs, Talia muttered. 1 minute. Kane's voice cut through the comms. We've got movement. Patrols shifted early. Evade, she ordered. Already gone, he replied. Suddenly, the lights turned red. Shay cursed. Someone tripped a failsafe. We've got 30 seconds before lockdown. Voss placed a secondary device on the server. Let's give them something else to chase. Talia yanked the drive. Go. Outer corridors, escape route Delta. Chaos erupted. Valari guards scrambled through halls, weapons drawn. But they were blind. Shay's jammers pulsed again, flooding sensors with ghosts. Kane redirected patrols with false comms, imitating their command frequency. Grimps opened a maintenance tunnel by brute force. The others slipped in behind him. Talia paused. A sound, small, soft. A child crying. She turned. A Valari girl, no older than 8, huddled behind a crate. Talia stared. Everything in her screamed move. But her legs froze. The child looked up, terrified, silent. Then Voss appeared beside her. We need to go. Talia nodded slowly. Turned away. But she didn't forget the look in the girl's eyes. Extraction point, roof access hatch. The team regrouped under a shield drone. The Harbinger dropped low. Just as they latched onto the extraction winch, alarms intensified. A voice thundered through the facility's intercom. This is High Inquisitor Thorn. You will not leave alive. Talia's head jerked toward the comms unit. He's here? No, Shay said, eyes narrowing. But his voice is. He wants us to know he's watching. A shiver ran through her. The winch engaged. They rose into the sky, the outpost shrinking beneath them. Voss broke the silence. He knows who we are now. No, Talia said. He remembers. UNSC Harbinger, command briefing room. Back aboard, the data decrypted fast. It wasn't just troop positions. The Valari were researching Terran neuropsychology, studying how to trigger fear, suppress emotion, manipulate memories. Names of captured humans, scientists, POWs, listed as test subjects. Myra's name was on the list. Talia sat down hard. She didn't die in the field, she whispered. They took her. Then staged the bodies. Kane stepped forward. Say the word. No, Talia replied, staring at the screen. We find her. Shay spoke next. You're changing the mission. I'm changing the war. Final scene, Valari command ship, Sector Prime. High Inquisitor Thorn stood before a massive star map. Desol 6 and Outpost Alpha blinked red. Behind him, a young Valari officer approached. Sir. We recovered partial footage. Earth's black unit is active. The ones from the Helix vault. Thorn's eyes narrowed. So the humans have broken their last restraint. He smiled. Good. Now we'll show them what restraint costs. He turned to the stars. Release the reclaimers. Talia Rourke stood alone in the Harbinger's observation deck, eyes fixed on the glowing system of Kyril Prime, where the Valari had stashed their most protected secrets, and High Inquisitor Thorn. The stars shimmered, indifferent. Behind her, the door slid open. Kane entered, wordless, calm. You're thinking about her, he said. Talia didn't turn. They experimented on Mira. She was alive when they found her. Drugged. Hooked to some neural mapping system. Her body was just a cover. Kane studied her face. What happens after we kill him? I don't know, she whispered. But I know what happens if we don't. Briefing room, UNSC Harbinger. The room was darker than usual. Not somber, focused. The Helix team stood in silence, watching Talia lay out the final op. Thorn is aboard Kyril Station. No civilians. High military presence. This isn't sabotage. It's not revenge. This is a clean hit. Your version of clean keeps getting messier, Lucia said dryly. Talia ignored her. We enter via a dead channel on the cargo side, push through security fast and tight. We reach Thorn's level. We end him. Extract. No side objectives. Grims snorted. No fireworks? This time, Talia said, no distractions. Dr. Shea leaned forward. And the toxin? You're denying its use again? Bioweapons violate every line. They violated everything, Shea interrupted, voice sharper than usual. You've already torn up the rulebook. Let me finish the job properly. No, Talia snapped. This ends with Thorn. Not with millions of bodies that didn't commit his crimes. Shea's eyes narrowed. Idealism is a luxury. We don't get to pick clean endings anymore. Voss glanced at Talia. You'd better watch him. The doctor's slipping off the leash. Talia met Shea's gaze. Then I'll be the one to tighten it. Kirill Station, outer hull, 0G ingress. The Harbinger dropped them into shadow. Talia, Kane, Grimps, Voss, Shea, and Vire entered through a blind spot in the station's aft sector, mapped weeks ago during Volari patrol scans. No alarms. No chatter. Just the slow, deliberate movement of professionals who'd done this 100 times. Inside the airlock, helmets hissed open. They split into two teams, Strike and Overwatch. Voss and Vire took the high routes, hallway controls, surveillance feeds. The others advanced. Every corner, every door, they moved like ghosts. Talia led with purpose. Every heartbeat louder than footsteps. Then came the resistance. Main corridor, Thorn's quarters, level D. Volari elite guards waited. Armed. Ready. They'd been tipped off. Kane shot first, two guards dropped instantly. Grimps rushed forward, swinging a support beam like a club, clearing the path with blunt violence. Talia ducked low, flanking left, suppressing return fire with precision bursts. A blast rocked the corridor, Voss's work, clearing a fallback position. Go now, she said through comms. Talia charged forward, Thorn's chamber ahead. But the door opened before they reached it. He was waiting. Thorn's chamber, command nexus. High Inquisitor Thorn stood in ceremonial armor, hands clasped behind his back. You've brought them. The old ghosts of Earth. How poetic. Talia didn't answer. She raised her weapon. You've changed, he said, stepping forward. From doctor to executioner. Was the price worth it? You murdered medics. They studied war. I perfected it. Kane growled. You're done talking. No, Thorn said. You are. The lights dropped. Gas hissed. Shea screamed. He's flooding the room. Talia activated her filter mask, barely in time. Thorn lunged forward, faster than expected, striking Grimps with a shock baton. The giant fell, convulsing. Talia fired, missed. Thorn vanished behind a shield field. Kane leapt through, stabbing the core unit. Sparks erupted, shield down. The air thickened with smoke and tension. And then Shea stepped forward. Holding a vial. You wanted restraint, he said. But you lost control the moment we breathed free air. He threw the vial. Talia moved fast, tackled him, smashed his wrist. The glass shattered harmlessly on the floor. You're done, she hissed. No poison. No extinction. Shea laughed. Then you'll never win. Behind her, Thorn staggered back, Kane had gotten him. The Inquisitor's armor cracked at the ribs. Talia rose and faced him. For Mira. She shot once, straight through his chest. Extraction, Hangar Bay. They escaped under fire. No glory. No celebration. Just silent movement, adrenaline, and scorched armor. Thorn was dead. But the Helix team was fractured. Shea was in restraints, escorted by Kane. Grimps limped. Voss said nothing. Back aboard the Harbinger, Talia finally sat down. Not in command. Not on the bridge. Just alone. Earth, 6 days later. Public response was chaos. Some hailed her a hero. Others screamed war criminal. Earth's leadership was split. Should the Helix team be imprisoned again, or deployed permanently? Talia declined every interview. Every award. She visited Myra's grave. Left her medic badge there. Final scene, classified briefing room. Admiral Greaves entered quietly. "You made the galaxy listen," he said. "I made Earth dangerous," Talia replied. He sat across from her. "They're calling it a new doctrine, Helix warfare." Talia didn't smile. "They'll want more," she said. "More blood. More monsters." Greaves nodded. "Will you lead them?" She looked out the window. The stars weren't peaceful. Just quiet. "For now," she whispered. "But I don't know what I'll become if I do." He stood. "We'll find out together."